Tommy, good morning. How are you?
Jay Hood, good to talk to you. Jesse, be careful about your questions because I've been listening for the last half hour, and I'm a little nervous about you and football.
Please, I'm on top of it. Trust me.
Just remember, I'm a Notre Dame old man. I'm not a BC kid. So let's just get that straight.
Good Tommy is on the Yingling hotline.
Yingling, the oldest brewery in America.
You know what I like, Tommy? I like that Ben Johnson has been forthcoming so far. We just played his press conference in the 8 o'clock hour. A couple of things stood out. He talks about that first practice yesterday and says, you know what, we got to get enough guys out there on the field. Yeah, I quote-unquote kicked the first team out of practice, but I want to get more guys in there. He says he wants everyone to be on their P's and Q's and just executing in and out of the huddle. What did you glean from what Ben Johnson had to say?
Well, his press conference on Tuesday said everybody's coming out here with a clean slate. So everybody's being evenly evaluated. The one thing about this year, uniquely enough, is that the one guy that knows the defensive system the best is Dennis Allen. On the other side of the ball, it's Ben Johnson. So when you put all these guys in their classrooms, either as a whole offense or into position rooms, not everybody learns on the same pace. When I went into classes at Notre Dame, I knew that I was far behind because I'm a C student and I'm not an A student. So you have to take into account the learning ability of every one of these guys in terms of assignments, terminology, technique, fundamentals. And then you got to take every one of these guys, their learning curve into account, and then see how they all fit together perfectly when you're talking about an offensive system that everybody has to be on the right page every single play, and they have to be ready for any changes that might need to be made during the cadence. So the offense is going to take a little bit longer to develop, and we're all going to have some patience, whether we're out here watching practice or seeing snippets of it on the news. And so I think Ben Johnson is super realistic about what it's going to take to make sure everybody gets an honest evaluation and the proper amount of reps they need in order to, take into account the accountability that I know you guys brought it up early, what we heard so much about at the end of last year.
Tommy, who do you like right now, and obviously it changes as you watch this thing play out, to be the starting left tackle on opening day? Just if you had to make a choice today.
Well, if I had to make it, I would have to see Braxton Jones out there on his feet in some of the most uncomfortable spots, whether it's be bendability and power movement, second and third step. I like the template that Karan Amagaji is offering the Bears. He's a super intelligent kid. He's got a nice body style for the position. And then you can't help but think about Ozzie Trapillo, who's a big, solid football player, but does he have feet that's transferable from right tackle to left tackle? Because it's an entirely different body of work. So I guess there's no front runner, but experience Braxton, but is he healthy enough? And then, Karan Amagaji has been with the Bears for a year, but not in this system. And I think it's going to be a battle that's going to have to work itself out with no front runner as of today.
It's safe to say, though, the best depth they've had at that position in a few years, even though we haven't seen them all, play just yet.
Jesse, you cover baseball and you need to see things realistically done.
Yeah.
When you have guys in shorts, it's so hard to determine, how good they can be. Once they get into pads next Monday and they go through one-on-ones and they go through 9 and 7 and teamwork, you're going to have such a better opportunity to have honest evaluation of football skills. I do like the fact that there's 3 candidates over there, but one kid is Ozzie coming out of college, and then you think about the competition that Karan Amagaji has played against in college. And then Braxton Jones has the experience that you like, but is he recovered enough to develop the leg strength throughout the offseason to go out there and be NFL competitive?
Tom Thayer with us on the Cap and J. Hood Morning Show on ESPN 1000. And streaming on the ESPN Chicago app. Something else that Ben said today was talking about the run-pass split as far as the offense is concerned. He said that every game is its own entity, and I think that's a smart thing to say, and it should be commonplace around the NFL. Like, you don't know the matchup until you get there, so you can't say we're going to be exclusively a passing team or more passing than running, because it all depends on the matchup, Tom.
You're 100% right, Jay Hood, because, it's kind of been a part of the NFL ever since they started game planning. Because back in, I think, 85 or 86, we played the Indianapolis Colts and conditions were less than perfect. And we ran it, I think, the first 22 plays of the game, and we only threw it like maybe 10 times in the course of the game. And then in 88, we played the Buffalo Bills in Chicago, and they were really susceptible to play-action passing. And we were able to run the ball for 160-plus yards, but we play-action passed them to death, and we threw it for 270 yards. So, and again, what does the evaluation of your opponent offer you? And then are you good at everything to be able to do everything you need to do to have that type of game planning? And that's what I really like about Ben Johnson, that he's not making these unrealistic claims this far in advance. He's going to, probably answer those questions post-game, week in and week out.
True Fan Travel and ESPN Chicago are teaming up for the ultimate fan getaway to Sin City to see the Bears take on the Raiders in Las Vegas.
You get round-trip airfare, 3-night stay at Mandalay Bay, special live broadcasts and meet and greets with the full ESPN Chicago team, all-inclusive tailgate, tickets to Bears, Raiders, and more to come.
Spots are limited, so don't wait. Reserve your spot today at truefantravel.com. Back to you on the video.
What'd you think about him kind of getting a little antsy about how they set up yesterday? Not a big deal, right? Sending him off. And he even dressed it. It wasn't him throwing out the offense. It's about a timing thing. We got to keep moving along. But he didn't like how they set up in that situation.
I just asked him that, right?
Yeah.
Well, I again, I love it though, Jesse, because you have to have a certain amount of angst and pressure when it's your rep. And if you think that you're going to listen to the terminology used in the huddle, and if you're a half a second uncertain about it, you're already going to ruin the play. Because Dick Stanfeld, our offensive line coach, he said it to me the very first game that I played for the Bears, and he says, if you think, you're beat. And that's the thing about it, is when you're saying all this difficult terminology to master in the huddle, and then you break the huddle, and there could be subtle changes from what defense you were expected. Now they're showing something else. If somebody out of those 10, 11 guys in the huddle is on a different page, it screws the whole play up. So that's what Ben knows, offensive perfection, and everybody has to have it. Defensively, it's a little bit more reactionary. So you can have 10 guys that know it perfectly, maybe one guy that doesn't, but there's somebody that can fill in and make up for position or assignment uncertainty.
Tommy, when I get to camp, we're going to be there tomorrow. We're going to be there next week as well. I'm just going to be over there with the offensive linemen and also keeping my eyes on Austin Booker to see and Dominic Robinson. All I keep hearing, you tell me, that they really think that Robinson can make a difference this year. Like, they're going to give him every opportunity to get in the rotation. So I'm going to keep my eyes on the line of scrimmage. I'm looking at the offensive linemen. I'm looking forward to Trapillo and Luke Newman, those guys. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Dom Robinson and Austin Booker bring to the table. That's going to be fun. That's where you can find me.
Amen, Jay Hood. I'll be standing right next to you then. Because the thing about Dominic Robinson, he's already proved that he's a willing candidate for special teams, and he's got that unique type of athleticism. So you're talking about contributing in that fourth phase, which is really important. Now, Austin Booker is brought in to be a pass rusher. And last year, on day one of full pads, he showed that he does have an arsenal of pass rushing skills and moves. But it's about maturing, investing time in the weight room, getting stronger, learning a little bit from other guys you're watching, but most importantly, teaching yourself what you need to do to improve. And if Austin Booker is that guy that takes that next step into the defensive end rotation, that can do as much to help this defense as any other player on the defense.
Did you expect him to do more last year from start to finish, advance more?
Who?
Booker.
It's a good question. I don't know. The thing about it is when you come out of college and you play an entire NFL season, you have hard knocks, you have a trip to London, sometimes it takes a toll on you. That's why I think the expectations for everybody is raised in their second year, because Tony Medlin, the equipment manager up there, he always says, and he's been around the NFL now for almost 40 years, he says in the NFL you only have 1 year to be young. And I think that statement can't go understated, because they don't have time for you to be young, immature, or burned out in year 2 or 3. It's they drafted you. We're going to feed you. We're going to get you in the weight room. We're going to acclimate you to professional sports. And then it's up to you to make those next advances with your commitment.
So this will be camp number 22 for me. Do you think that this year Tony Medlin will answer my question, who had the biggest helmet in Bears history for his time? Do you think he'll finally answer the question for me? He never answers it.
To me, if just guessing after all the years that I've been around, I would, Alonzo Spellman had a big head.
Oh,
so if I had a candidate,
I could see that.
If I had a candidate, that would be the guy that I would go with right now. But I hope if he doesn't answer you the question, let me know, Jay Hood, and I'll get the answer from him for you.
He just never answers. Every year I said, Tony, who is it? He won't tell me. And I keep giving him names. I gave him a Godzuki. I gave him a Keith Jennings. He still won't. He won't give you Keith Jennings either.
He's a good one. That's a good guess.
Mongo had a melon on him too.
Mongo.
So let's not put Mongo in your. Let's keep him up there as one of the candidates.
Could see maybe Buffon with a big one. Maybe
Buffon. Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, he just had not a lot of knowledge up there, Buffon. That's why that wasn't the helmet. He just a lot of knowledge.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you something, Tommy. No, the best quarterback he's ever seen was Dave Ragone. Just ask him. No one had more hype over a quarterback than Dave. Let me tell you something, Little John. This Dave Ragone's gonna set the world on fire. It's like
I will say this about Dave Ragone.
Dave Ragone.
He throws the best underhand behind the back pass I've ever seen.
No kidding.
There's no need for it, but I saw him doing it at practice one day, and I was going, whoa, man, this guy's thrown it 40 yards behind his back underhand, and it's on the mark.
And accurate, you said. Wow.
I'm surprised Mahomes hasn't incorporated that in his game. He's the type that could do that.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. It's one of those things that's not pre-predictable. It's just you're in the circumstances where you got to somehow get the ball out of your hand, and I think he's got the skill and the confidence to do that.